Captain Marcus Wright had been counting down the days for 6 months. 183 days in the scorching heat of the Middle East, surviving sandstorms, midnight patrols, and the constant weight of responsibility. But through it all, one thought kept him going: coming home to Sarah. The plane touched down at Reagan National Airport at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. Marcus had orchestrated everything perfectly. He told Sarah he wouldn't be home for another 2 weeks, wanting to surprise her. He imagined her face lighting up, her tears of joy, the way she'd throw herself into his arms like she always did. He'd even borrowed his buddy's phone to record the whole thing. It would be perfect. The Uber dropped him off 3 blocks from their apartment in Arlington. Marcus wanted to walk the last stretch, to savor the familiar streets, the autumn leaves crunching beneath his boots. He was still in his desert fatigues, his duffel bag slung over one shoulder. People smiled at him as he passed, some thanking him for his service. He nodded politely, but his mind was already at home. He pulled out the phone and hit record. Day 183, he said to the camera, a broad smile crossing his weathered face. Finally back on American soil. Sarah has no idea I'm home early. She thinks I'm still in Kandahar for another 2 weeks. I can't wait to see her face. The phone's battery was at 67%. Plenty of juice to capture the reunion. Marcus turned the camera to show the familiar neighborhood. The coffee shop where they'd had their first date, the park where he'd proposed, the corner store where Sarah bought her favorite chocolate croissants every Sunday morning. We're about 5 minutes from home now, he narrated, his excitement building with each step. 6 months is the longest we've ever been apart. Not gonna lie, there were some dark nights over there when just thinking about her got me through. He rounded the corner onto their street, and his heart began to race. Then he saw it, Sarah's white Honda Civic parked outside the Marriott Hotel, 2 blocks from their apartment. Marcus's steps slowed. What would her car be doing there? Maybe she was meeting a friend for lunch. The hotel had a nice restaurant. That made sense, but then the hotel's revolving door spun and Sarah emerged. She wasn't alone. Marcus stopped walking. The camera in his hand continued recording, but he'd lowered it slightly, the lens now capturing the sidewalk and his boots. Sarah was laughing at something the man beside her was saying. Marcus recognized him. Derek Hoffman, her co-worker from the marketing firm. She'd mentioned him before in her emails and video calls. Just a colleague, she'd said. He's helping me with the Jennings account. Derek's hand was on the small of Sarah's back. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He raised the camera slowly, zooming in slightly. Sarah was wearing the blue dress he'd bought her last Christmas, the one she said she was saving for special occasions. Her hair was down, curled in that way that took her an hour to perfect. She was wearing makeup, more than usual. Derek said something else and Sarah laughed again, touching his arm in that familiar, intimate way that Marcus recognized. He'd seen her make that gesture 1,000 times with him. They stood outside the hotel entrance for another moment. Derek leaned in and Marcus's breath caught in his throat. But instead of a kiss, Derek simply squeezed Sarah's hand, holding it for a beat too long before releasing it. Sarah smiled at him. Not just any smile, but the smile. The one that used to be reserved only for Marcus. Marcus's hand trembled slightly as he held the phone. He could feel the weight of his duffel bag cutting into his shoulder, could feel the sweat from his long journey sticking his uniform to his back. He'd been traveling for nearly 24 hours dreaming of this moment, and now, Sarah and Derek parted ways. Derek walked toward the parking garage and Sarah headed toward her car. She was still smiling, checking her phone, completely unaware that her husband was standing 50 yards away watching everything. Marcus slowly turned the camera toward his own face. His jaw was tight, his eyes glistening with something between rage and heartbreak. For a moment he didn't speak. He just stared into the lens, letting it capture the exact moment when everything he'd been fighting for crumbled. Finally, he spoke, his voice eerily calm. Guess I came home to the wrong address. He ended the recording. The timestamp read 4:23 p.m. The video was 7 minutes and 36 seconds long, and it had just captured the worst moment of Marcus Wright's life. Marcus stood frozen on the sidewalk, watching Sarah drive away. Her car disappeared around the corner, heading toward their apartment, the home they'd bought together 3 years ago, the place filled with photos of their wedding, their vacations, their life, a life that now felt like a lie. He couldn't go home. Not yet, not like this. Marcus turned and walked in the opposite direction, his legs moving on autopilot. He found himself at the same park where he'd proposed to her 4 years ago. The bench was still there underneath the old oak tree. He sat down heavily, dropping his duffel bag beside him. His hands shook as he pulled out the phone and watched the video again. And again. Each time he searched for something, anything that might explain what he'd seen as innocent. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe Derek was just a touchy person. Maybe that hotel meeting was completely professional. But he'd been trained to read situations, to assess threats, to notice details that others missed. The way Derek touched her back, the way Sarah leaned into him slightly, the dress, the makeup, the hand-holding, the smile. Marcus had seen that exact sequence of gestures and expressions before, when Sarah had been falling in love with him. His phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. "Hey baby, just finished work, picking up dinner. Ty okay? Miss you so much. Only 13 more days. 13 more days. She thought she had 13 more days before he came home. 13 more days of what? Meeting Derek at hotels? Marcus's jaw clenched. He typed back with trembling fingers. Ty sounds great. Miss you too. The lie tasted bitter even through text. Another message came through, this time from his buddy Jake, who'd lent him the phone. Dude, did you surprise her yet? Send pics, I bet she lost her mind. Marcus stared at the message. Lost her mind. Yeah, something like that. Instead of responding, Marcus opened his email and started typing. He attached the video file and addressed it to his lawyer, Tom Morrison. Tom had handled Marcus's will before his deployment. He was thorough, discreet, and owed Marcus a favor after Marcus had saved his son from a bad situation overseas. Tom, I need you to watch this video. Don't share it with anyone yet. I need advice on what to do next. I'll call you tomorrow. Marcus, he hit send before he could second-guess himself. Then Marcus did something he hadn't done since boot camp. He cried. Not loud, theatrical sobs, but quiet tears that rolled down his cheeks as he sat on that bench in the gathering dusk. He cried for the marriage he thought he had, for the woman he thought he knew, for the soldier who'd spent 6 months in hell, holding on to the idea of home only to discover that home didn't exist anymore. A jogger passed by and glanced at him with concern. Marcus wiped his face quickly and pulled himself together. He was a soldier. He'd been shot at, bombed, and had held dying men in his arms. He could handle this. But God, it hurt worse than any wound he'd ever received. As darkness fell, Marcus finally stood up. He couldn't avoid going home forever. Sarah would wonder where he was. No, Sarah thought he was still overseas. He'd told her he was in Kandahar. She had no reason to worry about where he was. Marcus checked into a Holiday Inn 2 miles from their apartment. The clerk, seeing his uniform, upgraded him to a suite and thanked him for his service. The irony wasn't lost on him. In the hotel room, Marcus sat on the edge of the bed and stared at his wedding ring. Gold band, simple, engraved with their wedding date, June 15, 2019. He twisted it around his finger, remembering the day Sarah had slipped it on. Forever, she'd whispered. Forever had lasted 5 years. His phone buzzed again. Another text from Sarah. Dinner's ready. Pad Thai with extra peanuts, just how you like it. Eating mine now and pretending you're here with me. This apartment feels so empty without you. Come home soon, my love. Marcus felt physically sick. She was good. Really good. If he hadn't seen that video with his own eyes, he'd never have suspected a thing. Her texts were perfect. Loving, detailed, consistent. She was eating Thai food alone, missing him, counting down the days, or was she? Was Derek there with her right now, sharing that pad Thai, laughing about how clueless her husband was? Marcus stood up and paced the hotel room. He needed to think strategically. He'd learned in the military that emotions cloud judgment. Right now he wanted to storm into their apartment, confront her, demand answers. But that would be reactive, sloppy. No. He needed to be smart about this. He pulled out a notepad from the hotel desk and started making a list. Gather more evidence. Talk to Tom about legal options. Check bank statements for hotel charges. Find out how long this has been going on. Protect myself financially. The list helped. It gave him a sense of control in a situation that felt completely out of control. His phone rang. Tom Morrison. Marcus, I just watched your video. Tom's voice was grave. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so damn sorry. What do I do, Tom? First, don't confront her yet. Don't let her know you're home. Can you do that? Marcus looked at his reflection in the hotel mirror. Still in his fatigues, eyes red, jaw set. Yeah, I can do that. Good. Tomorrow I want you to check your joint accounts, credit cards, everything. Document what you find. And Marcus, don't delete that video. Save it to a cloud service, email it to yourself, make backups. In Virginia, adultery is still grounds for fault-based divorce. That video could be crucial. Marcus nodded, though Tom couldn't see him. What if I'm wrong? What if there's an explanation? Tom was quiet for a moment. Then we find that out too. But Marcus, in 30 years of practicing law, I've learned to trust my gut. And that video? It doesn't look good. After they hung up, Marcus lay back on the hotel bed, still fully clothed. Through the thin walls, he could hear a TV playing, a couple laughing. Normal life continuing on. His phone buzzed one more time. Sarah. Good night, my hero. Dream of me. I'll be dreaming of you. Marcus turned off the phone and stared at the ceiling until exhaustion finally pulled him under. Marcus woke up at 500 hours, his body still on deployment time. For a split second, he thought he was back in Kandahar. And then reality crashed over him like cold water. He was in a Holiday Inn. His wife was cheating on him. His life was falling apart. He showered, put on civilian clothes from his duffel bag, and opened his laptop. Time to investigate. Their joint bank account loaded slowly. Marcus scrolled through 3 months of transactions, his jaw tightening with each page. There it was. Marriott Hotel, September 15th, $287. August 23rd, $315. July 19th, $298. 3 hotel charges while he was overseas, all roughly the same amount. The cost of a room for an afternoon. He checked Sarah's personal credit card next. She'd added him as an authorized user when they got married, which meant he could access the statements. More hotels. Different ones this time. The Hilton, the Westin. Restaurants he'd never heard of. A charge from Victoria's Secret for $156 dated 2 weeks ago. Marcus remembered their last video call. Sarah had been wearing an old college t-shirt, her hair in a messy bun, no makeup. She told him she was staying in most nights, saving money for a trip they'd planned for when he got home. A trip to Hawaii. Their second honeymoon, she'd called it. The Victoria's Secret charge had been made the same day as one of the hotel visits. Marcus's phone rang. Tom Morrison, calling at 6:30 in the morning. I've been thinking about your situation all night, Tom said without preamble. I have a private investigator I trust. Guy named Rick Chen, former FBI. He's discreet, thorough, and he owes me. I took the liberty of sending him your video. He wants to meet with you this morning. 2 hours later, Marcus sat across from Rick Chen in a diner booth. Rick was in his 50s, Asian American, with sharp eyes that seemed to catalog everything. He slid a folder across the table. I did some preliminary work this morning, Rick said, keeping his voice low. Derek Hoffman, age 34, works at Brighton Marketing Solutions, same firm as your wife. He's been there for 2 years. Divorced, no kids? And before you ask, yes, there have been rumors at the office. Marcus's stomach churned. What kind of rumors? The kind that HR usually squashes before they become problems. According to my source, Derek has a reputation for getting close with coworkers. There was an incident with another married woman last year, but nothing was ever proven. The woman transferred to a different department. How long? Marcus asked. How long has this been going on with Sarah? Rick pulled out his phone and showed Marcus a series of photos. I called in some favors, pulled hotel security footage, timestamps going back 6 months. They've been meeting at various hotels since early April. Always Tuesday or Thursday afternoons. Always for 2 to 3 hours. April. Marcus had deployed in March. She'd started this 1 month after he left. There's more. Rick continued. Your wife requested remote work flexibility in March, citing the need to be home for your pet. Marcus frowned. We don't have a pet. Exactly. She's been telling her office she's working from home 2 days a week. Those are the days she meets Derek. Marcus felt like he'd been punched. She'd planned this. This wasn't a moment of weakness or a mistake. This was calculated, organized, ongoing deception. I need you to get me more, Marcus said, his voice hard. Photos, videos, proof of them entering and leaving hotels together. Time-stamped, dated, everything. Rick nodded. I can do that. But Marcus, I have to ask. Are you sure you want to go down this road? Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. You could confront her, try counseling, work through this. Marcus thought about the texts Sarah had sent him while he was in danger, the care packages filled with his favorite snacks, the video calls where she cried and told him how much she missed him, all while she was sleeping with Derek Hoffman. "I'm sure," Marcus said. "I want everything." Rick left and Marcus sat in the diner drinking bitter coffee and staring at his phone. He had 13 days until his official return home. 13 days to decide what to do with the information he was gathering. His phone buzzed. "Sarah, good morning. About to head to the office. Big presentation today. Wish me luck. Miss you like crazy, office." On a Wednesday, not one of her remote work days, Marcus typed back, "Good luck, babe. You'll crush it. So proud of you," another lie. He was getting good at them. At noon, Marcus drove past Brighton Marketing Solutions. He parked across the street, far enough away to be invisible, close enough to see the entrance. At 12:47, Sarah and Derek emerged together. They walked to Derek's Mercedes and Derek opened the passenger door for her. Chivalrous. They drove off, heading west. Marcus followed at a distance. They ended up at the Westin downtown. He watched them enter together. Derek's hand on Sarah's back again, that same intimate gesture. Marcus parked and waited. He took photos with his phone, time-stamped, dated. 2 hours and 18 minutes later, they emerged. Sarah was adjusting her dress. Derek was smiling. Marcus wanted to throw up. Instead, he took more photos. That night, alone in his hotel room, Marcus made a decision. He opened TikTok, an app he'd never used before but had heard about from younger soldiers. He created an anonymous account, Soldier Truth. Then he did something impulsive, something driven by pain and rage and betrayal. He uploaded the video from yesterday, the one where he'd surprised himself by catching his wife with another man. He added text overlay. "Came home early from deployment to surprise my wife. Got surprised instead." He added hashtags. Military, country cheating, unfiltered betrayal, kind heartbreak, deployment. Then he posted it and immediately regretted it. What had he done? This was private. This was his life falling apart and he'd just shared it with strangers. Marcus closed the app and tried to sleep, but images kept flashing through his mind. Sarah laughing with Derek. Sarah's hand in Derek's. Sarah wearing lingerie for another man. At 0300, Marcus checked TikTok again, intending to delete the video. It had 47,000 views, 2,000 comments. The counter kept climbing as he watched. The video had gone viral, and Marcus Wright's decision to share his pain with the world had just changed everything. By morning, the video had 3 million views. Marcus sat in his hotel room, his laptop open, watching the numbers climb in real time. The comments were overwhelming. Thousands upon thousands of people sharing their own stories of betrayal, offering support, expressing outrage on his behalf. "This is heartbreaking. Thank you for your service, and I'm so sorry. She doesn't deserve you, King. Hold your head high. My husband did the same thing while I was deployed. I feel your pain. Find a lawyer. Document everything. Take her for everything she's got." The video had jumped platforms. It was on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. News outlets were picking it up. Soldier's viral video exposes wife's alleged affair. Heartbreaking homecoming goes viral. Military spouse caught in alleged infidelity. Marcus's phone rang. It was Tom Morrison, and he sounded stressed. "Marcus, what did you do?" "I posted the video," Marcus said flatly. "Last night. I wasn't thinking clearly. It's everywhere. My secretary sent it to me this morning. She had no idea it was my client." "Marcus, this changes things. Your wife's attorney, and she will get an attorney, could argue you've defamed her, invaded her privacy, caused emotional distress." "She caused my emotional distress," Marcus shot back. I know. And honestly, in the court of public opinion, you've already won. But legal court is different. We need to be smart now." Tom was right. Marcus's anger had made him reckless, but there was no taking it back now. At 10:23 a.m., Sarah called. Marcus stared at the phone, watching her name flash on the screen. He let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, she called again. Then again. Finally, Marcus answered. "Marcus?" Sarah's voice was panicked, breathless. "Marcus, oh my God, what's happening?" "There's reporters outside our apartment. People are sending me messages. Someone posted a video and people think. They think I... Marcus, where are you? Are you okay? The performance was masterful. She sounded genuinely confused and concerned. But Marcus knew better now. I'm fine, he said, keeping his voice neutral. What video, Marcus? People are saying things about me. Horrible things. They're saying I cheated on you, but that's crazy. I would never... Sarah. Marcus cut her off, his voice ice cold. Stop. Silence on the other end. I'm home, Marcus continued. I came home yesterday early to surprise you. He could hear her breathing change. What? What do you mean? I saw you, Sarah, at the Marriott. With Derek. The silence stretched so long Marcus thought she'd hung up. Then he heard it. A small choked sob. Marcus, please. Let me explain. It's not what it looks like. Marcus laughed bitterly. That's what you're going with? I've seen the bank statements, Sarah. The hotel charges. April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months. You've been sleeping with him for 6 months while I was getting shot at in the desert. I never meant for it to happen, Sarah whispered. You were gone so long and I was so lonely and Derek was just there and what? You accidentally fell into bed with him? Multiple times. At multiple hotels? Where are you? Sarah asked suddenly. Are you home? Can we talk face to face? Please, Marcus. Let me at least try to explain. There's nothing to explain. I have eyes. I have video. I have proof. That video. Sarah's voice changed, hardening slightly. You posted that video online? Of me without my permission? You're worried about permission? Marcus felt his anger rising. Where was my permission when you decided to destroy our marriage? Take it down, Sarah demanded. Take it down right now. People are threatening me, Marcus. They're calling me horrible names. Someone threw eggs at my car this morning. This is harassment. Welcome to consequences, Marcus said coldly. I'll have Tom contact you about the divorce. Divorce? Marcus, please, we can work through this. People make mistakes. I'll end things with Derek, I'll do anything. Please don't throw away our marriage over your affair? Marcus interrupted. You already threw it away, Sarah. 6 months ago. I'm just finally picking up the pieces. He hung up. His hands were shaking. Within hours, the situation escalated further. News vans had found Marcus at the Holiday Inn. He had to sneak out through a back entrance. Tom's private investigator helping him relocate to a different hotel under a false name. Derek Hoffman released a statement through his lawyer. My client denies any inappropriate relationship with Mrs. Wright and is considering legal action for defamation. Sarah posted on her own social media, which she'd made private but screenshots leaked immediately. There are always two sides to every story. I'm not the villain everyone thinks I am. My marriage had problems long before this video was made. I'm heartbroken by the hate I'm receiving. The internet tore her statement apart, Marcus's commanding officer called. Right, what the hell is going on? I've got reporters calling the base asking for comments. General Morrison wants a statement. Sir, I apologize for the attention. It was never my intention to... Can it, right? Are the allegations true? Is your wife having an affair? Yes, sir. I have documented proof there was a pause. I'm sorry, son. Take all the time you need. The base will issue a statement supporting you. And right? For what it's worth, you've got the entire unit behind you. Rick Chen called with updates. Derek Hoffman just got suspended from work pending an internal investigation. Apparently, his boss saw the video like everyone else. Brighton Marketing is doing damage control. They don't want to be associated with the story. What about Sarah? She called in sick today. Hasn't left your apartment. But Marcus, there's something else. I've been monitoring her communications. Legally, through methods I won't detail. She's been texting Derek a lot. They're panicking. Can you get me those texts? Working on it. That evening, Marcus received an unexpected call from his mother. Marcus Anthony Wright, I raised you better than this. His mother's voice was sharp. Posting your private business online for the world to see? What were you thinking? So that girl is still your wife. You handle this privately with dignity. You don't air your dirty laundry to millions of strangers. She cheated on me while I was deployed, Marcus said quietly. She lied to me for 6 months. His mother's tone softened. I know, baby. I know, and I'm furious at her. But this internet mob, it's not justice. It's cruelty. People are threatening that girl. That's not who we are. Marcus rubbed his face. Maybe I went too far. You did. But what's done is done. Now you handle the rest with dignity. You hear me? Yes, ma'am. After they hung up, Marcus looked at the video again. 8 million views now. He read through some of the comments. Most were supportive, but some were vicious. People had found Sarah's workplace, her parents' address, her friends' profiles. They were harassing everyone connected to her. This wasn't what he wanted. He'd wanted to expose the truth, to share his pain. But this had become something else entirely. Marcus opened TikTok and added a new video. Just him, sitting in an anonymous hotel room looking exhausted. This is Captain Marcus Wright. I posted a video yesterday that's gotten a lot of attention. I want to clarify a few things. First, to everyone who's reached out with support, thank you. Your kindness means more than you know. Second, to those sending threats or harassment to my wife or anyone else involved, please stop. This is my pain to process, not yours to weaponize. What she did hurt me deeply. But I don't want her physically harmed or threatened. Third, I'm working with my attorney to handle this divorce privately and legally. I won't be posting more videos about this situation. Thank you for understanding, and thank you for your support of our military families. He posted it and turned off his phone. Tomorrow, he'd meet with Tom to start divorce proceedings. Tomorrow, he'd figure out how to move forward. But tonight, Marcus just wanted to mourn the marriage he'd lost. 3 weeks later, Marcus stood in Tom Morrison's office signing the final draft of the divorce petition. The papers felt heavy in his hands, heavier than his rifle had ever felt, heavier than the body armor that had protected him in combat zones. Virginia allows for fault-based divorce on grounds of adultery, Tom explained, pointing to various sections of the document. With the evidence we've gathered, the video, the hotel receipts, the private investigator's report, and the text messages we obtained, this should be straightforward. Sarah's attorney has already indicated she won't contest the adultery grounds. She knows she can't. Marcus nodded, signing his name on the designated lines. His signature looked strange to him now, as if someone else was controlling his hand. The viral video had eventually died down, as internet phenomena always do. It had been replaced by new scandals, new heartbreaks, new moments of public spectacle. But the impact remained. Marcus's face had been recognized on streets. Well-wishers still stopped him occasionally. His story had been featured on military support websites, in articles about the challenges of deployment, in think pieces about infidelity and social media. Sarah had moved out of their apartment into a small studio across town. Derek Hoffman had resigned from Brighton Marketing after the company's internal investigation revealed multiple violations of their fraternization policy. Marcus heard through Rick Chen that Derek and Sarah were no longer together. The pressure of public scrutiny had crushed whatever relationship they'd had. Turned out hotel trysts and stolen afternoons didn't translate well into real life under the microscope of public judgment. What's next? Marcus asked, setting down the pen. We file these tomorrow. Virginia requires a 6-month separation period for fault divorces, but since you have proof of adultery, the court usually moves faster. I'd estimate you'll be officially divorced in 3 to 4 months. Given the circumstances and the evidence, I'm confident you'll receive a favorable settlement. I don't want her money, Marcus said. I just want this over. Tom studied him. You're entitled to half of everything you built together. The apartment, the savings, her 401k. Don't let your anger make you careless, but don't let your guilt make you stupid either. Guilt? Marcus looked up sharply. I didn't do anything wrong. No, but you posted that video. You exposed her to the world. Part of you feels bad about that, whether you admit it or not. Tom was right. Marcus did feel guilty, not about discovering the truth, but about the weapon he'd made of that truth. The video had served his need for vindication, but it had also unleashed something he couldn't control. I called her last week, Marcus admitted, to check if she was okay. Tom sighed. Marcus, I know. My mother said the same thing, but I needed to know she was safe. Some of those threats were serious, and she's alive, scared. Her parents came to stay with her for a while. She's seeing a therapist. Marcus paused. She apologized. Really apologized. Not the defensive stuff from that first call, but actual accountability. She said she knows she destroyed something good, that she was selfish and cruel. She said she doesn't expect forgiveness, but she wanted me to know she regrets it. Do you believe her? Marcus thought about it. Yeah, I do. I think she's genuinely sorry. But sorry doesn't fix anything. It doesn't give me back the 6 months I spent in combat believing I had someone faithful waiting for me. It doesn't erase the images in my head of her with him." Tom nodded. "For what it's worth, I think you're handling this better than most people would." Marcus wasn't sure about that. Some days he was fine, functional, focused on work, making plans for his future. Other days he couldn't get out of bed. Couldn't stop watching that video, couldn't stop wondering what he'd done wrong, what he could have done differently. The military had assigned him to a stateside position while he processed the divorce. His commanding officer had made it clear that Marcus had support, that his mental health was a priority, that he shouldn't rush back into deployment until he was ready. Marcus had started seeing the base therapist, Dr. Patricia Chen, no relation to Rick Chen, though Marcus had made that joke at their first session. Dr. Chen didn't let him wallow, but she also didn't rush him. They talked about betrayal, about trust, about the specific pain of being cheated on during deployment when soldiers were at their most vulnerable. Your marriage became your anchor, Dr. Chen had explained in their third session. When everything else was chaos and danger, you had that one constant thing. When that anchor disappeared, it wasn't just heartbreak, it was disorientation. You lost your emotional compass. That had resonated with Marcus. That's exactly what it felt like, being lost, spinning, unable to find north. Now, leaving Tom's office with divorce papers filed, Marcus felt something shift. Not healing, it was too early for that. But maybe the beginning of acceptance. His phone buzzed. A text from Jake, his buddy who'd lent him the phone for the ill-fated surprise. "Beer tonight? New place downtown." "My treat," Marcus smiled. It was his first genuine smile in weeks. "Yeah, 1900 hours. See you there." The bar was crowded but comfortable, the kind of place where veterans gravitated. Jake was already there, along with 3 other guys from Marcus's unit. They'd all come home 2 weeks after Marcus, and they'd all heard about the video. To Marcus, Jake raised his beer, who came home to the wrong address but found his way to the right decision. They clinked glasses. Nobody asked for details. Nobody pressed for gossip. They just sat with him, present and supportive, telling stupid jokes and sharing deployment stories. It was exactly what Marcus needed. Around midnight, Marcus walked back to his new apartment, a 1-bedroom place near the base, sparsely furnished but clean. His own space, a fresh start. He sat on his couch and pulled out his phone, scrolling through the thousands of messages he'd received over the past weeks. Most were supportive. Some were from other soldiers sharing similar stories. A few were from people who'd watched their marriages survive infidelity, offering hope that healing was possible. One message stood out. From a user named A Veteran Wife 2015. "My husband caught me cheating 5 years ago. He posted about it and I deserved every bit of the backlash. But he eventually forgave me and we rebuilt our marriage. It took years of therapy and work, but we made it. I'm not saying that's your path, just that whatever you decide, there's life after this. You'll be okay." Marcus didn't know if he believed that yet, but he wanted to. He opened his laptop and started typing, something he'd been thinking about for days. "It's been 3 weeks since my video went viral. 3 weeks of interviews, articles, comments, opinions. Everyone has a take on my situation, on what I should do, on who I should be. But here's the truth. I don't have all the answers. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm confused. Some days I regret posting that video. Other days I'm glad the truth came out. Most days I'm just trying to survive." To everyone going through something similar, whether you're the betrayed spouse, the deployed soldier, or even the person who made the mistake, we're all human. We all screw up. We all hurt each other. The question isn't whether we'll face pain, but how we'll respond to it. I chose to expose my pain publicly, and that decision came with consequences I didn't fully anticipate. I don't know if I'd make the same choice again, but I can't take it back, so I have to move forward. I'm filing for divorce. I'm starting therapy. I'm rebuilding my life piece by piece. It's not dramatic, it's not viral worthy. It's just the quiet, hard work of healing. If you're going through something similar, know this: you will survive. Not immediately, not easily, but you will. Find your people, the friends who show up, the family who supports you, the professionals who guide you. Let them help. And to Sarah, if you're reading this, I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I need to. Carrying this anger is exhausting, and I have a life to build. I hope you find peace too. To everyone who supported me, Thank you. Your kindness helped more than you'll ever know. This is my last post about this situation. Time to move forward. Captain Marcus Wright. He posted it to his TikTok account and closed the laptop. His phone rang immediately. It was Sarah. Marcus stared at the screen for a long moment, then answered. I read your post, she said quietly. Thank you. For the forgiveness. I don't deserve it, but thank you. You're welcome. I mean it, Marcus. I'm so sorry. If I could take it back. But you can't, Marcus interrupted gently. Neither of us can. So we just have to move forward. Are you going to be okay? Sarah asked, her voice breaking. Marcus thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, he said finally. Eventually. I think I am. They said goodbye, and Marcus knew it would be their last real conversation. From here on out, it would be lawyers and documents and logistics. The emotional part was over. Marcus walked to his window and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere out there were thousands of people who'd watched his pain unfold. Somewhere out there were other soldiers coming home to betrayal, other spouses struggling with loneliness, other people making terrible decisions they'd regret. Life was messy and complicated and often unfair, but it was also resilient. People survived worse than this every day. They rebuilt, they healed, they found new paths forward. Marcus would too. 6 months later, Marcus stood at the courthouse as a judge officially dissolved his marriage. Sarah wasn't there. Her lawyer had handled everything remotely. Marcus signed the final papers, shook Tom's hand, and walked out into a bright spring morning. He'd been promoted to major. He'd started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but he was open to possibilities. He'd found a good therapist and a better understanding of himself. He'd learned that betrayal didn't define him, that viral moments didn't capture the full story, that healing wasn't linear, but it was possible. The video had faded from the internet's collective consciousness, replaced by 10,000 other moments of drama and heartbreak. Sometimes people still recognized him, but less frequently now. Life had moved on, and so had Marcus Wright. He got in his car, turned on the radio, and drove toward his future, whatever that might hold. The soldier had come home to the wrong address. But eventually he'd found the right one.